Stories of Transformation is a show dedicated to the voices of social justice movements.
We bring to you guests who are engaged in making a difference in the lives of those who are forgotten.
We are committed to finding solutions which make people safe and communities thrive.
We believe that people have powerful stories about personal transformation.
When shared, these stories begin a process of healing.
Welcome to Stories of Transformation. I'm Boonachima, your host. We try to bring you people that you will find interesting and folks whose stories will inspire you to do things in the community. Tonight in the studio with me is Damon Guthrie. Welcome, Damon.
Thank you.
I've known Damon for about 6 years now, and we have just finished a joint project which took us 5 years. And I really wanted to bring Damon to the studio and have him meet all of you and see the wonderful things he's doing in the community. So Damon, welcome again. And we have a lot of stuff here that we'll get to, but let's start with who you are and where your roots and where you come from.
Born in San Francisco. My mom and dad birthed me in 1980 in Noe Valley. Grew up there 6 years, and broke my collarbone getting out of the high chair. And so I became ambidextrous.
Have you had many adventures like that?
Yeah, I've broken a lot of bones.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the first one. This was my right one. And the high chair collapsed because it was one of those converted into a car. So I climbed up that, broke the collarbone, so I became ambidextrous. That was fun.
And are you still?
Yeah, I do, brush teeth and lots of stuff with the left hand, but primarily right. Like when I do the art, it's mostly right.
And when you play the guitar?
Yeah, that's mostly right as well. But it's really helped me have that dexterity, I think.
So what would you say to, say, young kids? I wouldn't suggest that they break a bone to become ambidextrous, but are there other ways that people actually can practice or something and use both hands?
I'm sure there is, yeah. Just a little bit of discipline, a little bit of self-motivation. Say, tonight I'm going to try to brush my teeth with the other hand that I'm not used to. Things like that. I just learned, too, that all except a few presidents were left-handed.
Yes.
That tripped me out. But I don't know what's with that.
Let's then look at whether those were the presidents that went to war the most.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or if they were the ones who made peace. We should check that out.
Yeah,
maybe one of you will check it out.
Ambidextrous ones, maybe. They did the best.
They did the best. I'm sure there are one or two.
Yeah.
One of the things that I wanted to ask you, Damon, was, I met you at a Chamber of Commerce meeting, and we started to talk about what we both do and where we could find some synergy to do something together. But then I also saw you, in your own community and your neighborhood, having closed off the street and all these folks hanging out. So can you share with us what that event is all about, and does it happen every month?
Well, not every month yet. I would love for that to happen. I was actually thinking about a program where there was a running block party in a close by area in your neighborhood every month. So maybe not this week your street's closed off, but the neighbor's street's closed off, and it keeps rotating. So that was an idea I had a few months ago. But the block party, I was super intrigued. I bought a house about 4 years ago with my lady and helped with my parents, and the community had some good and some bad, and I wanted to bring it all together and make it better. So I said, well, a block party, The city helps facilitate it a little bit. It's like $15 for the permit.
Yeah.
And it's an excuse, really, to get to know people.
Yeah, I was there, and I got to know some people, and then I found someone who's like a historical person in Berkeley.
Yeah.
You were telling me the story of this gentleman who was sitting there and playing chess.
Yeah.
Do you remember who I'm talking about?
Yeah, Brian Glass, perhaps?
Yeah.
From England. And went through the Blitz, and he had his trauma growing up, and he considers himself a shaman of sorts in the community, and he's going through his stuff. And so we met up. I met up with him because he was giving away some bricks in a dumpster during the block party that we had for the community. And I said, hey, wait a minute, I'm going to take those. Yeah. So that's how we met, and then ever since, he teaches me chess. I talk with him and put him in a local newspaper that I'm putting together. He's right on the cover,
Yeah, let's talk about all these little things that you do.
Lots of little
all
things.
All month round that pop up on the internet.
Yeah.
And say a little bit about Same Team Us.
Sameteam.us, yeah, that's just the website I came up with, and the name was important. I wanted to have a name that I could say, that I could see myself saying for the rest of my life that made me feel good. And those two words, for me, are real empowering for myself and people around. You know, we're all on the same team, that idea, and that continual reiteration. And us is just same idea, pretty much. You know, we're in this together. And so I came up with that, and I made it the name of my art business. Started about 7 years ago, and you know, started going to the chamber events and the breakfast where I saw you speak, and it was just a beginning for me. And I racking my brain, what's going on? I got all this art. I want to do this. Quit my day job, become an artist. You know, no real formal training or business school.
No, you and me both.
Right?
We'll go far.
So yeah, we're getting it down.
Yeah. Why don't we share with people what we've been up to?
Yeah.
So I'm going to check with my camera people to see if that's visible and if that looks right. This is the cover of the book that Damon and I have just finished. And I'll let Damon talk about the transformation he went through putting this thing together.
Well, the day I met Boona was a while ago, and she showed me a little blue teddy bear that was in her car, I believe, at the time. She pulled him out, and she said, "This is what I want to make a story about. This is our inspiration. This is my bear." So I looked at him, and we talked about it, and got to know what it meant for you, Boona. I got to know what the bear was for you, you know, and that's a lot. And so learning that was a part of the process, and then coming up with a sketch that I could create over and over again, something real similar. And that was a challenge for me as an artist, you know, evolving. And so this project has really helped me become much better at creating a character that is movable in a whole world.
And it sort of transformed my writing from, you know, I've been writing technical writing for so long, and then to take on writing a book for children, on top of that, it being about a bear and his llama, his teacher. And it's, of course, about the environment. So to be able to write for children in a way that there isn't fear about what we're doing to our planet, but excitement that how much of it we can undo. So this, we're hoping, we just sent it to print, and we're hoping that it'll be out in the coming holidays, and we'll be talking about it more, but I officially wanted to thank you.
Put it out in the cosmos.
Put it out in the cosmos.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people come together and do projects. I think it was a rare experience for both of us because we both put a great deal of love and affection into this, and really didn't have a single time where either one of us wanted to fire the other.
No, not at all.
No, we were just cool through the whole 5 years.
You know, yeah.
So we're going to be bringing it out to the community, and I'm sure you'll get to see it and read it and buy it. There's a lot of artwork here, but before we dig into this magical box,
that's just a little bit of me.
That's just a little bit of you?
Yeah.
There's more back there.
Yeah, that's everywhere.
How old were you when you first took pen to paper and something emerged?
Right. My mom said I started drawing on the rug. She came home and there was just crayon all over the whitish rug when I was about 2 or so. And I remember drawing on the walls once. But with the first real one I remember being like formally, you know, given a safe space to create art was out at dinner in Noe Valley at the pizza shop, Noe Valley Pizza. And the tablecloths were made of just paper, butcher paper, basically. And so my mom gave me a pen. You know, you're at dinner and you're kind of bored as a kid. And it gave me an amazing focus, you know, like otherwise I'm just jumpy and what's that? Let's go do that. Let's throw a plate on the ground, whatever it may be. So that gave me a positive focus, and I remember just having my wonderful pizza and drawing pictures.
Were there certain pictures that came naturally? Was it
sunshine, smiling sunshine?
Smiling sunshine?
Yeah.
Do you have smiling sunshine in here somewhere?
This is the closest I can think of right now. No, I kind of got away from it. You know, you try to break away from your little baby roots sometimes. So no, I don't have specifics, but most of my stuff is smiling still.
Yes.
Yeah, the sunshine.
Who are you drawing for?
Good question. Everyone, the whole world, really. I want all sorts of people to enjoy it in some way. You know, maybe it makes them think about something about themselves that they kind of thought about changing and they wanted to do anyway, and it kind of helps them, remind them, they put on the fridge or whatnot, or maybe it just makes them smile, you know, and reminds them of a good time. But
Let's see if we can find one that you can talk about.
Yeah, I mean, anyone.
Well, you know, we can even take...
histories, you know?
Should I randomly pull one
Yeah,
out?
random it.
Okay, let's do a random.
Está bien.
Está bien.
Yes, my buddy bought the original. He speaks English and Spanish, both languages very well. And I drew this in Nicaragua. We had this house that was like amazing with friends for one weekend. San Juan del Sur is down here, and I'm trying to incorporate my life with my work, my career, because I feel I don't want to separate them too much. I know.
When you say your life, are you talking about your values, what you think is important?
Like my everyday, like what I do, where I go. Like, you know, I'm choosing to go to Nicaragua, but I'm also choosing to advance my artistic career and create artwork for the world.
Ah,
and not just take a
fantastic.
vacation and relax and be like,
Yeah, right.
I'm relaxing, leave me alone. So I like to keep them engaged, myself engaged with my career.
So you're not the lay down on the beach, get burnt, and drink a lot of beer.
A
little bit of that.
I can do that, yeah. A little surfboard nearby, maybe. In Nicaragua, I got the worst sunburn in my life. But this one was just looking out and trying to practice drawing what I see, and I don't usually do that. I usually draw like more what we're talking about with Boomben, like imagination realm, taking what I know and just, okay, let's cartoon it. But this was more of a realism experiment, you know?
This one looks interesting.
Yeah, that's my...
Little complex for me right now.
Yeah.
Under the bright lights.
A lot of my art takes a lot of time to really look at, and it's not just like a quick,
Yes.
It's like a, whoa, what's going on here? There's something going on.
So, whoa, what's going on here?
This is basically a person. I was feeling this way, the way this guy looks. He's trying to smile. He's scared. He's trying to remain strong as a building is amidst war all around me. You know, the idea of love being subjugated off the picture, and knowing that my own country is propagating a lot of this negativity, and but still being a strong member of society and trying to make it a little better and remain strong and not just run away and hide. Kind of like back here is also kind of like a self-portrait. So being sad, hiding behind all these things that are happening, and putting up this front. This is one of many characters I've created in like a comic
So
strip
you
series.
have favorite characters.
Yeah,
and I have seen
seriously.
your comic book.
Yeah. The
Books.
Ninja and Friends is one of my comic strip series I'm working on, and there's 4 main characters: the building, money, a ninja on fire with a pen, and a computer. And I keep evolving characters, you know, I bring new ones in and stuff. So that's kind of a hint into what you can do with a character, expressing myself a way I might not be able to express myself otherwise. Yeah. But yeah, I try to keep them. I don't know. A lot of times with art like this, it's not as fun to look at. You know what I mean? Like people don't want to put this on their wall as much, and so I shy away from. You asked me like who I draw for, so I shy away from doing as much stuff like this sometimes because I feel like it's not as commoditizing or commodity. It's not as big a commodity. It's not as lucrative, and there's a problem there. Right.
But there's also a vision there.
Yeah.
Because not everything lucrative has a deep message, and not everything that has a deep message can be sold.
Yeah.
So for an artist, you know,
Putting it out
as
there,
long as there's roof over your head
Yeah.
and food in your backyard, which I've seen you grow. So talk to me a little bit more about, you know, this concept of community. You know, you have that little library in front of your house that opens, and you can leave books in there.
Yeah,
and the little elements. I saw that your backyard runs into the neighbors in the back, their backyard, and there's communication over the fence, and then people sitting around when you close off the street.
Yeah, it's like one of the most important things in the world. Like that, I grew up learning about, kind of, you know, like as a kid. I really got into it in college. My major was community studies. Like that was the literal name of the major.
Was that at Santa Cruz?
Yeah, UC Santa Cruz. Graduated in 2002, with an emphasis on youth issues. But yeah, the community was just every day. I'm like, what is more valuable than, you know, building community by doing something such as playing Frisbee in the street with passersby or your neighbors. You know, Frisbee Friday, we've started it with my neighbors. The kids are like, when's Frisbee Friday? And it just came about. And I've all the research I've done so far with community building, studies, all that stuff, I've really came to one conclusion, is that one of the most powerful things you can do is simply just go out in the street and play a game, you know.
Yeah.
Safely.
Just be there.
Watch the cars, you know, do what you need to do to be safe. But playing Frisbee with neighbors or in the street is like one of the most powerful community building things that I have ever experienced.
And that used to happen in Berkeley a lot, but it's rare now where you see kids in the street just playing ball.
Right.
And let's get back to this idea of, let's say in a whole year, if we were to carve up the streets, there could be a street closing every weekend.
Yeah, every day. But
and if people knew that that was really sort of what happens in the city of Berkeley, then, you know, people would start going to each other's blocks.
And it would build.
I'm convinced of that.
Yeah. It'd become more of the norm. Like, whoa, there's a car going down the street?
Yeah.
Like, our kids are trying to play here. This is our community. Like, how am I supposed to talk to my neighbor when there's cars zooming by and it's literally, I'm fearing death, you know, while talking to my neighbor.
Yeah, and in Berkeley, yes, that's becoming almost a reality, the way people are driving. I'm convinced they're all from somewhere else. Let's see what we can do with, the fan man.
Yeah.
I was looking at this, and I would have never guessed that the man is a fan of the fan. Yeah. I was like, well, I don't see any sweat. I was doing the linear thing, you know.
Yeah.
Not at all the artist eye.
You know, this one just came about. I was doodling one night, and I was really into drawing wind turbines, trying to study them for a realistic rendering, so I could cartoonalize it, you know, make it a cartoon. And this is kind of a good example of a combination of both of those two things. So, and then I, you know, boom, put a big weird guy in there. Why not?
Why not?
Study the human shape, but move it around and do what you want with it. And it's so powerful because, you know, there's a lot of classes you can go to and they teach you how to do this. But I was just sitting in my, my kitchen, and there were people around, community. You know, there's not just me and a few people. It's movement of people were coming through at this time. So I was able to look at people and just do my thing, and it just came about. And then once I drew the picture, I said, well, what should this be titled? Fan man, why not? Because this is obviously a fan, but wind turbine, fan, interchangeable for me.
I'm going to go through a couple more of these. Why don't you pick one?
All right. There we go. What's that guy? What do you see, Bruno?
I actually see Wavy Gravy riding around Berkeley on this bicycle.
Nice.
He is going to have a 75th birthday, so happy birthday, Wavy.
Yeah, Wavy.
That was my first take.
Yeah,
that's because I'm so Berkeley. But what's going on here?
It's a picture that comes from a result of intense emotion, which came from an experience of mine, which was centered in San Francisco. So I took the bus to San Francisco with my bike, and I began biking through the city. And I got home, and sometimes when you get home and you have a lot of emotion, you have a lot of you want to do some more processing. So this is my way of processing. A lot of my art is that, you know, have an intense experience. Like we were just talking about cars.
May I ask what the intense experience was?
Yeah, right. I mean, cars. I mean, the city.
Oh yeah, just
being this one biker, this biker guy trying to make his way through the city is really tough sometimes. Scary as heck. So, and then I try to get the city, the movement of the community, but just experimenting mostly with three-dimensional shapes and foreshortening, and trying to draw a bike is difficult. You know, this isn't really me. I didn't draw this to look like me.
I get that.
It's that experience.
Or that expression.
And my buddy has this up in his house. He was one of the first ones he bought. It's called Mad Yellow Biker. And he just saw it and he's like, I want that one. So it resonated with him. He's a biker.
So in some ways, this is really personal.
Yeah, they're all...
see it and something happens.
They come from a personal place, but you want to share it and share that personal feeling so you can keep growing, you know, keep talking about it or handle the emotions differently if you need to stay balanced, you know, to stay.
So during the time that I've gotten to know you, I've seen so many different aspects of you that then make Damon Guthrie.
Yeah.
What did it take to put it all together without bursting?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because when you're creative, I mean, it can be overwhelming.
Yeah. I remember consciously, like, having a lot of times where I consciously decided, like, okay, Damon, you know, you could go the crazy artist route and just do stuff, maybe be super famous, but I did a lot of study of other artists, and for a lot of artists that I really loved, a lot of them were like a little too much for me in terms of balance and being in the community. Like Bill Watterson, I just heard that he wanted to be alone more. And for me right now in my life, I really don't want to do that. So I consciously was continually checking in with myself saying, okay, you got this talent, you got this motivation, this ambition, but don't get too crazy with it. Don't let that take over, you know, your loved ones, and knowing what's so important in my support system with, you know, my lady and my family, you know. And just coming back and knowing that those are just way more important, you know. And I don't know, I grew up with a lot of love, a lot of support. I was really a lucky kid, I believe.
Was there support for you to go whichever adventurous lane you wanted to go?
My mom worked at
that's really lucky.
It was a place in Emeryville. So she would bring home, here you go. Here's a new set of pens that would otherwise cost $80, you know. She didn't buy them for me. She got them because it was a sample. So I was constantly given the tools and the space to do the art. And not just art, not just like, go make cool art. It was like a combination of learn complex concepts, you know, history and community studies in college really, you know, Marxism and all sorts of a barrage of just historical ideas that humans have had, and learning the current political things that are going on, and then using the art to mesh together with that. Yeah.
And create a message.
Yeah.
Maybe
balance.
A different kind of message. Yeah.
A conscious message that is thought-provoking, comes from thought and provokes thought.
So to young artists, let's say the little ones,
who
we're hoping will buy their parents will buy our book.
Oh, yeah.
But what I've seen in my own family with one of my grandkids is he's an artist.
Yeah.
He knows he's an artist.
Yeah.
But because there isn't support all the time from everyone that surrounds him,
right.
Slowly that shift to the games and all those little gadgets and everything. So I asked him, I said, Cody, what could we possibly do where you wouldn't want to play these games? He said, well, if you could figure out a way where I could create these games, then that'd be really cool. So I said, okay, let's see if you can create a game. And just colored pencils and stuff, and it was like it shifted his consciousness about that he really can also be that creative.
Yeah.
And
part of the
yes, sometimes I think we just
program.
have to take the kids and let them decide what kind of art it makes sense to them in their current, you know, playtime, or otherwise we lose them.
Yeah, meet them. I like to say, meet them where they're at. You know, I do that with a lot of people and situations. Not coming into a situation and saying, "Whoa, everything's wrong here. Stop doing that. Do this instead. You'll be happier. I promise." It's like, no.
It's a waste of time.
A lot of people want to just do that because they feel, I know what's right. You know.
That's right.
And even though you might feel what's right, going into the situation and being, "Hey, what interests you?" You know, like you did with Cody.
I wanted to ask you about all the work that you do with kids.
Yeah,
I mean, you go to camps and play, and I mean, you have a really full life.
Yeah, balance. Come back to balance.
There we go.
Consciously keeping it balanced. Like 5 days a week. Say you work 5 days a week. Thank you, unions. First day you work on kids' books. You know, Tuesday you work on fine art in your backyard. You spend 8 hours doing fine art. Wednesday, you know, you do your local magazines and you submit to hundreds of newspapers. Thursday, you know, so that balance, that conscious balance within the art realm is what I'm working on.
And that's rare for artists.
Yeah.
To really hone in that kind of discipline and balance, because they get into something and it's like,
you want to do it. You want to do. That's a good idea.
And everyone else is saying, Damon, come on, have dinner. We want you too. We love you too. And you're like, doing my art.
And, you know,
and that can't be a very happy experience for everyone else.
Yeah, it's pretty easy with my lady because she's so good to just put down my stuff and be with her. You know, so that's really a joy I have, a blessing I have in my life, is just being like, you know what, I could be saying, I'll talk to you in like, you know, 4 hours, honey. But, you know, I do a little bit and then be with her. So knowing that and keeping that in mind, just what's important, you know, what makes you happy.
And the way your house has come together has been very much like that. The way your house is coming together,
falling apart, coming together.
Bits and pieces, and now it's becoming art.
Yeah. Wood, I've been working with wood, so a new medium within the last 4 years of my life is like, my lady, Teresa, her father and mother are into the lumber business and retail, and they know a lot about that. And so they gave me a special, what's called a chop saw. It enabled me to cut wood at precise angles, this kind and this way, so I could do both. Anyway, new medium popped up for me. So I said, whoa, I look at things and I said, I could build that. I can figure out the angles. I can build that out of wood.
And you built that little library thing.
Yeah.
Very cute.
Library, yeah.
I want to shift to your love of music.
Yeah.
And as part of the show, we will be playing some of Damon's music, and you'll also get to see some more of his artwork when the show is completed. So, music, guitar, I've seen you, you know, hold one and play it, and this wonderful voice comes out. And where is that going to go? Is that for just you and family, or are you going to do something professional with that?
I hope to do professional. I think I have a lot of good ideas with concepts for albums. Even, you know, just the concept of an album with me on every track with different friends, kind of like you know, interviewing.
And get me to sing?
Boona and friends, you know? Yeah, heck yeah. So, and every person I work with will do a cover. We'll record a cover or put out a cover and an original.
I would love to do spoken word with you.
Yeah.
You could play guitar, I do spoken word. We already got this kind of stuff going. That would be fun.
I love doing that. I've been doing that with my buddies for years, and it just, you find the right setting, you know, full moon Pisces at the Albany Ball.
That's right.
Just meeting the person where they're at, letting them freestyle, and changing up the rhythm, changing up the emotion of the how vigorous it is according to what's going on, you know?
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to say to the City of Berkeley?
City of Berkeley.
What do they need to do
to
support, you know, just the kinds of things that you're doing?
They need to keep me in mind for projects that need publicity. When you want to show somebody what may be, what could be, I am good at that. You know, I can show people a concept of a building even. I've been working on artistic renderings. Or they need to think of me when they need to think of a space that needs altering in terms of like a mural. All that art stuff as well, but really thinking of me as someone
as an asset to the community.
Yeah, asset, because I'm very able to balance a lot of the issues. So in any project, there's a myriad of issues that, when balanced, you know, creates a beautiful thing. So
that everybody can support.
Yeah.
Because in Berkeley, you know, to get to that balance can be a real political hair pulling sometimes.
Yeah, and sometimes a conceptual image can put people on the same page, so they can create a dialogue from there. And that's one of the huge parts of my art is dialogue, creating dialogue. It was one of my 4 bullet points when I started my business. Progressive dialogue was one of the main ones out there. So thinking of me as, an intelligent artist who's able to balance community concerns and create something that will help move the program in a positive way that's going to work for most everyone.
Do you believe that the city is using art and art forms to sort of help the schools help? I saw one of your comic strips that had the school the bins that the kids are going to paint with, that here we put our cans, here we put something else, here we put something else. And if that happened in the city of Berkeley, that would involve the children. They could raise money for the schools.
Right.
And much more of that needs to happen.
Yeah. The feedback, like you asked your Cody about the video game, getting feedback from the youngsters is so crucial, and creating a very valued and respected forum for presenting that information seriously and saying, you know what, this is a really good idea. Check this out. Look what our kids are talking about. They know what's going on a little more than we give them credit for. But yeah, my cousin came up with that comic strip about the kids and the art. So he's got great ideas in Maryland.
Oh, don't you have something called a great idea?
Oh yeah, good ideas.
Good ideas.
Good ideas comic strip.
Yeah.
So here it is. You give me a good idea, I'll illustrate it. Basically, that's it. 4-panel comic strip. 1, 2, 3, 4. Classic comic strip you see in the newspapers. However complex it may be, my job, or simple, my job is to relay that good idea, attribute you, whoever the person may be, if they want to, and put their little picture in there. It brings a personal touch to it. So get a little headshot, and then, good idea, Boona. So, or maybe you want to be anonymous. It's totally up to you, but that's the premise of the comic strip.
And are you beginning to get those?
Oh yeah, I got a lot.
Okay, we'll post all of Damon's information during the credits, but make sure you send him some good ideas.
Please do. Yeah.
It's been an absolute pleasure having you, Damon, in our studio and sharing with us your dreams, your vision, the work that you're doing, and how important it is to share the work of people who are still building their portfolio or their life portfolio, not just their art, but their wholeness. Look forward to being able to watch the entire show sometime in November. Thank you for being with us.